All right, away we go. It's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com. As always, visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. They will bring it straight to your house via the app on delivery, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or you can head down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Hopefully the person working the register knows what that means. And they will give you 15% off of your order. If not, they might look at you cross-eyed when you tell them to pump it up, because that's a weird thing to say to somebody if they don't know what you mean. Did you see that on the site today, Aaron?
I missed that one.
Somebody apparently went down there and they had somebody new working the register, and they were like, pump it up. And the new person working the register looked at them like they had 7 heads. What are you talking about? All right, let's get cracking. I'm Chad Brendel. He's Aaron Smith. We are joined tonight by national reporter from The Athletic, Justin Williams.
What's up, fellas?
It's nice that you still live in Cincinnati, you know, while you're gallivanting around the country. I'm surprised you're not in Vegas or somewhere exotic tonight.
You just can't help but stir it up at all times, huh?
You've done a great job. Like, look, I'm kidding with Justin. He went to Columbus to cover the NCAA tournament. Last week he went to the AAC tournament. All of a sudden had a big national story with Mike Oresco.
My boy Mike Oresco.
I'm giving him a hard time.
Didn't make it to Orem last night, huh?
Did not make it to Orem. Looked lovely. The mountains look beautiful.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
That's without question. It's just in Utah.
It looked a little like in the gymnasium. I don't know if it was the colors or like Mark Madsen, but it looked a little trapped in amber, right? Like it might have been 1997 inside that gymnasium.
It looked a little bit like the episode of The Mandalorian yesterday that all looked like a 1970s or 1990s Star Wars movie.
I haven't seen, but I've heard.
So yeah, the Bearcats played on whatever planet that was that the Mandalorians train. So I've been out the last 2 days. Kelly was in ICU. She's doing much better. She went for a couple walks today. She's getting back there, but unfortunately, I was unable to be at spring ball yesterday, and I was unable to make it to the pro day today. And there's one man that was at both that I figured, look, we're just going to steal his intel because, you know, he loves us. So, hi, Justin.
What's up?
Justin Williams from The Athletic.
I was a little late to pro day. I had, you know, some child rearing responsibilities to get to.
You have 14 daughters.
Yeah,
I get it.
I called Aaron yesterday, I think it was, and his little one was just like 2 feet away from him, and she would just every 30 seconds go, ah! And we would try to talk, and he, you know, ah!
I can relate.
We only talked for 2 minutes, and I think I got 5 acts out of her.
I'm not even sure that number's accurate. It felt like about 15.
We'll start with today, Justin. Give us a rundown of Pro Day, what the sights and sounds, and what your takeaways from the Bearcats getting out there and performing in front of. Look, this is what's different. This is what changed last year. Pro Day this year, every NFL team in attendance, 50-plus scouts. That was not the case 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 9. Everybody was there today, at least.
Yeah, that was the word. I didn't go around and get a head count, but it was 56 scouts, I believe, all 32 teams. And you know, missed obviously some of the testing portion, but from what I gathered, Trey and Tyler ran really fast.
Shocker.
It's interesting because both those guys ran in the 4.4s at the combine, And I was talking to Trey afterward, and Trey said that when he showed up, the Bengals asked, "Why are you running? We had you at a 4.30 in Indianapolis." And so, like, I don't know how, and that's what Trey's like. I don't know how this works. Like, this is what the laser number was.
The
from
Bengals
NFL
were like,
Combine.
"Don't run, sir. We know you're fast enough. Don't run."
He said that he didn't hear from any team that was in Indy that had him like out of the 4.3s, but I think he was a 4.41 was his like official time in Indy. So it was all over a little bit, but if both of them, someone at least had both Tyler and Trey at 4.32. That's a really good number. And so I think that's kind of what they were hoping for. I thought Ivan looked like he was in great shape. Like we saw him kind of come
He
in.
looked skinny.
Yeah,
Svelte.
he looked jacked, honestly. Like he came in kind of doughy, right, from Miami. And then we saw over the course of the year. I remember Tressel at one point told me like he knew he was feeling good because he was tucking the jersey up in the shoulder pads so you could show the abs. He wasn't doing that when he showed up for fall ball. But even like beyond that, I thought he looked like he was in really good shape. And then, I'm certainly not an expert, but people thought that Ben threw the ball pretty well, and all the guys, they're kind of benefited from that.
Were you surprised to see Ben actually out there?
Ben Bryant, yeah. I mean, it's honestly like it's kind of surprising just from an injury perspective that he was out there at practice on Wednesday.
Well,
yesterday.
I asked yesterday. I asked that only because the Rocket Truth guys were telling me off air that Fickle would not let anyone who was not eligible to be at Pro Day go and throw or catch or anything for any of their players. So I guess that's an adjustment to the new coaching staff here. But just, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. I guess the other thing is like if it wasn't Ben, who was going to throw to those guys?
Soppy's in Florida. Like they couldn't have Soppy come throw.
Right. I mean, he might have gotten a UDFA contract offer too if Soppy was there.
I was going to say you saw Cam Newton come back this past week, so just pick a guy. I mean, is Ben Mock available? I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they did like, hey, Des, do you want to come back? And Des was just like, no.
Well, he's under contract. There might be some obligations there, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, but yeah, obviously, whatever rule Fickle might have had, it didn't apply to Ben. But it's also just available. Who?
Chaz Wolf.
It was you never know on these things. It's good to see like the guys there, Ty Van Fossen, Jeremy Cooper. These guys probably aren't going to be NFL players, but it's nice that they get to go out there. And there was a CFL team, the Ottawa Red Blacks were there. Like if these guys want to go play somewhere, it's nice that they have an opportunity to get out there and kind of show their stuff.
Are you surprised we don't get like XFL and USFL, like these guys out coming to watch these pro days? Like these are the guys that like some of these guys like they're going to be playing for you.
I wonder if they just poach like the NFL, scouting reports, that they have, and that's a little way for them to save on travel. I don't know. That's a good point though, because Curtis Brooks is like the best example, right? Where he's a guy who didn't have a ton of attention. Yeah, and then he had a really good pro day and kind of had good film and worked his way up. But you have to think that there are just some really, really good college players that aren't going to go to the combine, but they're going to test well, they would interview well, and that there would be some opportunities for them out there. So I'm with you. Vrabel was there. Vrabel still, he didn't care that Fickle's gone. Vrabel's still showing up and hanging out.
You think that was a shot at Fick?
Maybe, probably. Let's go ahead and just say that.
Yeah. I don't care if you're here. I'm here for that.
Vrabel, I'm still coming. I'm still here for Cincinnati. Don't worry, guys.
Luke, where you at? You think he texted him? Where you at? WID, what are you doing?
New phone, who this?
Exactly. They got a new area code on this bad boy. I don't know who that is.
But I mean, the main reason I wanted to go is like, Tyler Scott is kind of blowing up and shooting up draft boards. And so I was interested to talk to him. So it was good to get a chance to do that. It was good to see those guys out walking around at practice yesterday too. I mean, especially with the staff turnover and things like that, they certainly don't have any obligation to kind of show up there and hang around. And it was nice to see them there for that.
Well, with the Bengals currently having like no one at tight end, I'm really hoping that Wiley ends up back in Cincinnati. I think that'd be a fun story.
I mean, they certainly, and I think the Bengals have done a good job. I'm sure they weren't doing this, you mentioned probably a couple of years ago, but like, okay, not only do they have them down at their facility, but they had them like parking over at Paycor. So if anyone is going to have insight on the Bearcats players, like it's going to be the Bengals. They were there in full force. Mike Brown was there. Zach Taylor was there. Duke Tobin was there. Katie Blackburn. Yeah. So like everyone, who was, important in that organization is right there and probably doing a little extra homework. It didn't hurt that they had 4 or 5 rookies have really good, seasons last year. But I think if at some point the right player opportunity does pop up, I think the Bengals will certainly have done their homework.
I like it.
And it could be Wiley. You're right.
I mean, I think he'd be a great fit. That's the thing. Dave and I talked about this tonight in terms of like the things that the Bengals claim that they're about, and they are about culture, work, guys that love football. Tyler, Trey, Josh, like they all fit. They fit in that very tight little bundle.
Consider that the Bengals have only been drafting captains as well over the course of the last couple seasons. So again, that fits the mold. All of those guys fit that same mold. So,
and look, if we're just talking from like a revenue stream, imagine the amount of
oh my God,
Wiley uniforms, that the family would buy out from the Bengals pro shop. Like they would
all of them.
Yeah, it would just be like one whole section of Paycor Stadium would be, Wiley jerseys. That
it was one whole section of Nippert Stadium.
I know, yeah. So
you'd walk around in the pregame, and there would just be a swarm of 81s. Like,
you'd have to
Wiley family's here.
You'd have to actually, if you wanted to buy a Wiley jersey yourself, you'd have to buy a custom Wiley jersey where you had it made and paid the extra $50 to buy your own custom jersey because the family bought the actual printed ones.
The whole stock, all of it, the entire stock.
The Bengals always, they're like considered a real shrewd organization. Like this would be
that's how you pay Joe.
Tight end, and yeah,
they're gonna pay Joe with Josh Wiley jersey sales.
Let's go,
Aaron, you're on it.
I'm here for it.
Wiley Core Stadium.
Sure, you had to reach for him in the 3rd or 4th round, but you got it done.
We made $46 million.
That signing bonus is going to pay for itself easy.
The entire West Side has one.
Like Wiley uniforms and tall boys, just section 214 are sold out.
Oh shit, so good. We love you, Chris. It's his mom. We love you. I'm sure she's watching and laughing, I hope. All in good fun. Spring ball Wednesday. Number 1 QB, Ben Bryant.
If the number 1 QB
who's the guy who took the first snaps, Justin?
The guy who took the first snaps was number 6, Ben Bryant. I cannot tell a lie.
Again.
Yes. Yeah. Every day so far. The guy that took the first snaps has been, well, we don't know today because it was closed today because they practiced right after pro day, and then they shut down tomorrow because apparently the animals were marching. Going. Yeah, because Aaron was going. They were like,
"Nah, we're good."
And the animals are going to be marching 2 by 2 tonight. So, what did you walk away with? If you were to write the Chad Brendel practice notes for practice on Wednesday, give me a couple notes.
Okay, so first thing, this didn't have anything to do necessarily with spring ball, but Trey and Tyler were there walking around.
Did they run routes?
No, trust me. Every single coach was like looking over their eye. And like, what's the guy with the GIF behind the tree? Like,
we know you both have eligibility. Come on,
that was them. But I was standing with a member of the university athletic department, and they were talking about something, and Trey was standing there, and he's like, "Man, you guys keep sending me stuff about taxes for this NIL stuff. Like, you keep bugging me about taxes." And the university employee was like, "That's not us. That's the federal government. Like, you have to pay taxes." So there was a little Tyler was kind of like, yeah, like you got to pay taxes on that stuff. So we'll see.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that for a while, Brick. You should probably lay low or find a halfway house because you're probably wanted for murder.
Yeah, Trey was definitely kind of like, oh, maybe I should stop ignoring those emails that I'm getting. But so that part was great. That would have definitely like led off the practice report. I will say, so this is something
FBI.
Something you always talk about that I definitely learned from you when watching like spring ball or fall ball, whatever, is like, who are the guys that flash? What was that?
The Gunners. We watch Gunners.
Yeah, the Gunners. Chad does some Gunners. Other than that, is like, who are the guys that flash? Maybe you don't always know what the play is or what they're going for in the drill, but the guy who looks like different than everyone else.
The guy that looks different than everybody else. That's my scouting philosophy. Watch the guy that looks different than everybody else. Okay,
I got a couple. DJ Taylor, the Arizona transfer.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere. Free safety, making plays, sideline to sideline. Every time I've watched him, every time I look up,
he played corner some the first week, so it's interesting if he played free safety yesterday.
He's been mainly free. They're moving some of those. Him, Taj.
They're bouncing
one
around.
more. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of moving them around. And it depends too on the formation. Like if they go a true nickel or dime, then they've been maybe moving Deshaun inside and putting one of those guys in the corner. Deshaun's another one. And like. Yeah, and Satterfield said it the other day. Like he thinks he's had a turnover every single practice, and he had one. He picked off a ball, was running down the sideline.
Comeback player of the year,
maybe. I mean, they're going to need him to play well, and he has looked good. Dorian Jones, another one. Like that guy, he's got a little bit of advantage.
Explodes.
Yeah, he knows he's much more comfortable in the scheme than anyone else. But like that guy goes 100 miles an hour all the time, and they're doing like run fit stuff. And I mean, it was live. They weren't like tackling, but they were like hitting, blocking, and he was just popping guys on the offensive line. I mean, just running through gaps. He looked really good. I was impressed with him. Was there anyone else? I mean, it's hard to tell because it's so early, but like Briggs and Corleone they stand out. Yeah. And they're giving the current offensive line problems that they're going to give a lot of offensive line problems.
How about the offense, Justin?
Those I realize.
I was going to say, did anyone flash?
Defensive guys. The one who has stood out the most is D. Wiggins. Like, look, there are going to be a lot of opportunities at wide receiver. They really need him to stay healthy, and that's been his issue in his career. Like, just keeping him on the field. But he is the guy on offense who regularly stands out in the passing game. And so that would be the kind of the one that jumped out the most for me.
Did Miles Montgomery have any good moments? Because he's been so far the best of the backs to this point, but it's obviously early.
I don't think he was going full on Wednesday, and I don't think it was anything serious. But I didn't see him again. That's right.
He spent spring break with Royer, didn't he?
A player who shall not be named, did. I asked him how break was, and they were like, "Whoa, needed it." And then another player said, "We had 3 days practice."
Jesus.
So I got my eye on them once we get out to higher ground to see how they handle it. But
blink twice if the person said we had 3 days of practice was Malik.
Malik was not involved. He usually is. He was not involved. Not involved in this exchange.
What do you mean I needed it?
Anybody standing out at the tight end position?
Shaman's kind of he's still kind of working his way back to full from the offseason surgery. I do think Peyton Singletary looks bigger, and that's good.
He caught my eye. I mean, I know I've only been at one so far, but he did catch my eye. Like, oh, he's starting to finally look like what Denbrock told us the best case scenario would be for him physically.
Right. And it'll be interesting to see because they, sometimes they kind of use like an H-back, especially in the run game. So we've got like some Barack Falk in there. Again, I don't know many actual snap he's going to get, but that's a guy who's different than like Shaman or even the Joey Belgian from Western. Or even Singletary, like, you know, and so I'm wondering if there is somebody else on the roster, like, you know, Lenny would have been a great fit, I think, in that offense. Yeah, because, you know, as an H-back, he was big, he was a good blocker. I think they're probably looking for somebody to do a little bit more of that. But until Shaman can kind of get out there and go full, it's hard to say exactly, you know, what he's gonna be able to bring. But I guess that was the biggest thing at tight end was Singletary looks bigger.
Are they kicking field goals yet?
They did a few, just not like the Kerry Combs standing behind, you know, screaming at you field goal, high pressure stuff. They were doing one drill where like Carter Brown was kicking, and then there was I don't know who it was, but somebody else was kicking in front of him. So there was like two sets of guys kicking, which was interesting, but also speaks highly to Carter Brown that, you know, he wasn't really fazed by someone like 15 yards in front of him also kicking field goals.
I've seen it bother other guys.
And another thing I did notice, they were doing a special teams drill, and just God help Cincinnati if anyone other than Mason Fletcher has to kick a punt at any point.
He's great.
He's great, and
there's a drop.
Yeah. And look, you know, if you have a great punter, you hope like you don't need even another serviceable one.
It's Dan Skillings would give it one of these. Too small. All right, man. We appreciate you. Thank you for covering my ass as I spend a lot of fun hours at Good Sam. You know what? Sure. I've decided there's two things I'm not going to do for 6 months when Kelly gets out of this hospital. One is drive in a parking garage. I might not ever drive in a parking garage again after 87 days at Good Sam.
So you're just not going to go to UC games? You're going to park on the street?
I'm just going to maybe.
I don't believe you.
I'm talking about this. Like,
I've just heard the words.
I don't really ever have to do this.
Chad's got his own spot in Varsity Village, so he doesn't have to worry about.
Like, come on,
he's got
2 elevators. I'm out on elevators. I guarantee I've spent 5 whole days on an elevator. One, because Kelly's often been on the 4th floor or the 7th floor, and the cafeteria is on the 5th floor. So you go up to the cafeteria level, and then people get on, and then they punch all the buttons between 5 and 14. So you just stand on the elevator for 15 minutes, it feels like. And then my nicotine habit means I'm on the elevator more than I should be. So up, down, up, down. I guarantee I've spent a week on the elevators at Christ Hospital. So when this is done and we get Kelly home, you will not see me in a parking garage or an elevator for a long ass time. I'm out on those things. People just come flying in the parking garage like they're doing a Mario Kart lap or something. It's crazy.
And here I thought you were going to say that all that time in the elevator has made you want to quit smoking.
No, God, no. The only thing I've picked up from the elevator is they put the I've got more will than that. Jesus, come on, Aaron.
No one likes a quitter.
I'm good at quitting things. They have notices on the elevators of retirement parties.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, I'm. Although Justin, the 2 that are up there now, they you have to email to RSVP. So I think word has gotten around Good Sam that I'm working on crashing retirement parties.
Your wedding crasher / retirement party crasher is words out.
The one today, it wasn't. Here's what messed me up. When they like 3 or 4 days ago, they put this notice up for this retirement party, and there was no RSVP. And then today they had a new paper up there that said RSVP Karen. And I was like, that's a trap. That's a trap. They're trying to get me. And you know, when they first put them up, I was like, oh, one's like March 30th and the other's April 1st, or April 4th. And I was like, well, we're going to be out of here by then. And now I'm like, we're totally still going to be in this fucking hospital on April 4th. Like, I'll see you, Tina, April 4th. That's the nightcap. Thanks to Justin Williams. He's the best. You can find him on Twitter at Williams_Justin. One of the best national guys for the Athletic that you will find. We'll see you next time. Thanks to Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!